back to my channel. It's Hillary Jubilee. Here on my channel, I talk about manifestation, conscious creation, and the law of assumption. If you're into those topics, hit the like button down below and subscribe, and let's get right into the video. Today's video is the part 3 of the 3-part series that I'm doing on a new understanding that I've come to about manifestation in general. And the other 2 parts I will link above for you and down below. The new understanding was triggered by an article that Kristen Jackson wrote, which I explain and quote in the first part of the 3-part series. And reading her article triggered me to go back and listen to the I Am Love podcast again. So this 3rd part is about making your own rules for manifesting. And it's inspired by an episode of I Am Love podcast, which I will link down below, called Creating Your Own Rules and Assumptions. So Kristen and Jennifer in the episode talk about how we can make our own rules for manifesting. And I made a list of my own. Some of them are similar to the ones they talk about in that episode, and then some of them I've come up with. So I will read my list, but first I'll explain my old understanding on this topic. So my old understanding on the topic of manifestation in general is do whatever technique works for you, scripting, visualizing, affirming, or any other technique. You know, in the law of attraction community, there's a lot of different things that you can do, like 5x55, 2-cup method, pillow method. I don't know. There's a lot. You can do a vision board. And as we know, when we start to learn about the law of assumption, it's that the techniques are not what manifests. It's ourselves. It's us. We are God. So we are manifesting. The techniques just help us get into the state. So my old understanding wasn't necessarily wrong, but it's all about your dominant thoughts, which my new understanding is that it's your dominant state. So when you're in your dominant state, what thoughts would you be thinking? How would you be carrying yourself through life? I talk about that in part 2, which is knowing who you truly are and states of consciousness. So just wanted to say that old understanding. And we're not saying that affirming, scripting, and visualizing are out. Continue to do that. Whatever is working for you, continue to do that. That is still the same, but it's the understanding that these things are not what manifests, and don't make it a barrier for yourself to have to say something 999 times before it's gonna show up in your reality. If you're making a barrier for yourself, I have to, it's not here yet. I need to say it 500 more times. Let's try this technique. Hopping from coach to coach, watching all these videos in eternal question mode, you're placing a barrier in front of yourself that does not need to be there, and you're in your own way. So techniques are not what manifests. The power is within you. There's no special way to do any of these techniques. It's about knowing who you truly are and that you can make your own rules. So I'll talk about the rules that I have written here. Okay, so rule number 1. There's nothing for me to do to bring my desires to me other than to make the decision that it is mine. So this rule, when you have a desire, it belongs to you. You would not have the desire unless it already existed in a reality somewhere. So this rule, you can make your own rules, whatever, helps you out, but it's all about making it easier for yourself and removing barriers which don't actually exist. We sometimes place them in front of ourselves, like saying, I need to remove my limiting beliefs first before I can have what I want. I need to build up my self-love before I can have what I want. You are God. There are no prerequisites and there's nothing to do. Would infinite intelligence have prerequisites before manifesting? Would you ask God if this or that is possible? You are infinite intelligence. You are God. You are a creator. There is nothing that you cannot do. If you have a desire, it means it's It's a true desire. It exists somewhere. So rule number 1 is there's nothing more for me to do when I have a desire other than to make the decision that it is mine. And obviously you're going to step into the, as soon as you have a desire, just make the decision it's yours and step into the version of yourself that has that. I'm going to quote Florence Scovel Shinn. I do not limit God by seeing limitation in myself. With God and myself, all things are possible. Okay, so moving on to rule number 2. When I decide something is mine, nothing can stop it from coming to pass. So what this makes me think of is, you know, if you're trying to manifest, we don't try to manifest, okay, we're always manifesting, but if you have a desire that you want to manifest and you see evidence in the 3D that is opposing to that, remind yourself nothing is ever final. Nothing can stop your desire from coming to pass. Just keep stepping into the state of the wish fulfilled, know who you are, and know that it's done. Claim that it is yours. Nothing can stop it from coming. So, not your doubts, not your fears. We're human, we're allowed to have emotions, we're allowed to have bad days. Nothing can stop it from coming to pass. So this rule number 3 was definitely inspired by the I Am Love podcast, and they talk about manifesting things within certain times. So rule number 3 is either I manifest things within 1 day or 1 month. And like they say in the podcast, you can keep on coming back to this list of rules if you're feeling like, hey, well, I'm not seeing evidence of this rule. It's the same with any assumption. You just persist in the assumption until it hardens into fact. So these rules are assumptions and they are affirmations. So if you need a reminder of what your rules are for yourself, you know, you can come back to them. So I manifest in either 1 day or 1 month, or you can set whatever time frame for yourself, as long as it feels good and doesn't give you anxiety, you know, like set the rule because it benefits you, you know. Rule number 4, it is easy for me to manifest in every area of life. So we may have a belief that we may be good in one area and it may be tough for us in another area. That doesn't need to be the case. We are God, so you can make the rule for yourself that you can manifest in any area of life and that it is easy for you to do that. Rule number 5, I can easily manifest on a time crunch. So I see a lot of people trying to manifest things by holidays or things like that, and that can bring up you know, feelings of lack or neediness. It's like if you're doubting it's going to happen by that time. What you can do when you have a time crunch coming up is make, you know, what Neville says is if you've got something coming up on Sunday that you want to make sure that you can manifest, make Sunday today. That's what he says. So, you know, in your imagination, feel that it is Sunday or whatever day you are trying to manifest your desire by. Make that time, that deadline right now, and experience your desire right now in the imagination. Hi, buddy. Rule number 6, living in the end is easy and comes naturally to me. So this is helpful if you feel anything opposing to that. You can just affirm, living in the end is easy and comes naturally to me. Rule number 7, I can manifest things out of thin air because reality is an illusion and I am the operant power. So in the I Am Love podcast, Jennifer speaks of manifesting a drink out of thin air into her fridge that was not there previously. And Candace also has a video, Candace from Awaken the God Self, she has a video about this with an ice cream bar where she manifested another ice cream bar appearing in the box. Oh, Bambi. She manifested another ice cream bar appearing in the box that was not there before. So imagination is the only reality. The law and creation goes beyond logic and reason. So if you have, we only see from our limited human perspective, but when you can understand that imagination is the only reality and imagination creates, there aren't limits on anything. So you can manifest out of thin air. Rule number 8. When I give my problems to God, I get instant manifestations. So I talk about this giving your problems to God concept in part 2 of this 3-part series. And the video was inspired by Caleb from Pluto's Gate video. And he talks about giving your problems to God, which originally comes from a Florence Scovel Shinn quote about casting the burden of lack on the Christ within, and I go free to have plenty. So that concept worked really well for me in 2 instances, and so I just added that to my list. When I give my problems to God, I get instant manifestations because you're giving away the lack and the need. You're letting go of the lack and the need, and basically you're in the state. You already have it because you've let go of the lack of it, so it means that you already have it. Rule number 9 was definitely inspired by the I Am Love podcast, again, the one I already mentioned. And they were saying that your subconscious mind, we hear a lot, you need to affirm, keep affirming because you're impressing your subconscious mind. You need to impress your subconscious mind. And how do I know if my subconscious mind is impressed? And the women in the I Am Love podcast are talking about how you can make a decision that your subconscious mind is impressed when you say it is. So my rule number 9 is my subconscious mind is impressed the moment I say it is. If we are God and we create reality, there's no limits, there's no lack. God knows no bounds. There are no limits. There's nothing that you need to do before getting what you want. You can easily not always easy, but you can make it easier for yourself by just stepping into the version of you who already has it. You don't need to be like, I haven't listened to my affirmations overnight enough nights, or I haven't affirmed enough, or I haven't visualized enough, so I need to still impress my subconscious mind. I don't see any evidence, so I need to continue, so I impress my subconscious mind. It's not about forcing anything or making something happen. It's about becoming the version of you who already has it. It's about stepping into the state. So that one again is similar to there is nothing more I need to do. When I have a desire, it's already done. You don't need to make it a barrier that, I must first impress my subconscious mind. Just live in the end. So rule number 10 is definitely from that episode of the I Am Love podcast that I mentioned, and it's probably my favorite rule. It is, there are no mistakes. Everything is a bridge to my desires. So no matter what comes up, whether it looks not great or whether it looks like it's in your favor, no matter what it looks like, any circumstance or thing that you face in your 3D, you can make the assumption that it is all a bridge to your desires. No matter what it looks like, you can tell yourself, and an assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. So start telling the story that there are no mistakes. No matter what you have done that seems like a mistake, it's actually leading you to your desires. Everything is a bridge. So that one is my favorite because it really just makes the whole journey so much easier. So again, remember, we don't need to be happy and positive all the time to manifest. We are manifesting at every second of our lives, and we have been doing so every second of our lives. Everyone has been manifesting every moment of their lives. We are currently holding an entire universe in place without lifting a finger. So realize that you are God. It's not a thing that requires effort. It's least effort and least action. So just decide what you want and step into that version of you who already has it. And again, not saying that affirmations or other, affirmations or scripting or visualizing are out, because of course those things feel good and can help us get into the state. And depending on the person, different things are going to be easier for you. For example, I prefer to affirm, so mental diet, you know, making sure that I'm having positive inner dialogue, positive inner conversations, hearing what I want people to tell me in my mind, and then it gets pushed out and I see it in my 3D. That's a lot of fun. And scripting. I really like scripting because I'm a writer, so scripting comes naturally to me and helps me feel like I'm the version of myself who already has my desires. Visualizing, I do it, but it doesn't come as naturally to me. Whereas the next person might prefer visualizing a scene and seeing that get pushed out. So just play around with what works for you. It's meant to be fun. Nothing serious is going on here. We came here to create. So have fun with it and make your own rules. Start by making a list of rules for yourself that really just take off the pressure and make things fun and easy for yourself. So leave a comment down below if you have any new rules that you're gonna adopt for yourself, and I'd love to hear what they are. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Rule number 3 I have is I manifest within either wanna come in? Okay. Parts 1 and 2 were let's do this.